episode 142 of your sometimes weekly Concealed Taco Dudes podcast.
Today we have someone special here with us.
I'm always here.
No. You're not. Well, okay, yeah, you're pretty much here all the time. So, Jim.
Yes.
You want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Jim Cannon. I like guns.
And you are, okay, so you're most known for a few things, right? The 22 stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're the 22, you host or you...
Yeah, so I guess my
22 Marksman is your...
so my Instagram name is 22LR Marksman, and that might have been a mistake to name myself that, because that year in 2015 I won a big competition that was a year-long match. And so...
it wasn't with 22s.
It was with 22s.
It was with 22s.
Yeah, that's why the name. And it kind of like, that's my kind of shtick now, but I shoot lots of centerfire and pistols and everything, but that's kind of like what people think of me as. And I also just happened to match direct the largest NRL 22 match in the nation too. So,
Utah has the biggest match in the nation.
Utah has 4 or 5 of them, but mine in particular at Hobble Creek
is the biggest.
We had 78 last month shooting.
Wow.
Very cool.
That's
That was
awesome.
like our normal like monthly match. It wasn't like a big...
that wasn't
regional,
like a big
that was
event.
just a
That
normal,
was just a regular...
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
So
Very cool.
We bring all the boys to the yard. Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. And then you're also known for...
What are you thinking? I don't know.
Okay, so you have a business, right?
Yeah. I
And
do.
besides the 22 competitions, you compete long range.
I do.
And
So my business is Next Shot Precision. We are hidden in a little office space right now, but we have a pretty big pull word of mouth for selling nice things, suppressors and
Nice things.
custom guns and stuff. But we're going to be getting an actual store, surprise, really soon. Yeah. We're going to get an actual store with the signage and stuff. But
Do you have a location yet?
Nothing solid, but there's
hopefully
a couple possibilities.
Provo or Orem.
It's probably going to lay between North Provo and Saratoga, is my prediction.
I hear Saratoga and I think, ew.
Well,
It's like-
every time I go out there, there's about 14 new zip codes out there, so it seems
Right.
like
no,
it's
that would be actually
It
be a
is-
really
They have
good.
a
It is
Costco now, so
exploding.
they're official.
Yeah, that'd be a good place because there's a lot of shooters out there.
Yeah.
It's just
There are, but here's the thing.
Yeah,
it's just I'm super lazy and
Yeah.
so I like
Yeah.
to go to close things.
Most people on this side of the lake aren't going out there.
No.
And
Yeah.
most of the people on that side of the lake all work over here.
Well, I would argue that people here on the east side go out there to shoot.
That
so
is true.
stop by and buy a gun on your way, or on
That's
your way
a good
back.
point.
Yeah.
When your gun you didn't
Or
buy
they
from us
need
breaks.
ammo or something.
Yeah. Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm an SOT, FFL, the whole deal. So suppressors and the rare occasion of full auto, we can get you taken care of. So
Very cool.
yeah.
Yeah. What's your favorite full auto that you have fired?
Oh boy, I really liked the M&P, of course. How could you not?
Oh yeah, just a 22 full auto.
No,
Or
sorry, not the M&P. Sorry,
The B&T?
B&T.
Okay.
There's a B&T MP9. That's what I was thinking of. So MP9.
So is it kind of like a?
It's like a pistol.
It's a full auto.
It's a pistol with a stock.
Okay.
So 4-inch barrel and just shoots really fast. You can dump a 30-round mag in what seems like a second.
And that's been your favorite.
It's really amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It just doesn't move, and it's light and little, and it's just crazy. So
Awesome.
yeah,
Very cool.
yeah.
Should we knock out some sponsors really quick?
Yeah. Let's do that real fast.
All right.
So blackicecoatings.com. They are the best gun finishers around. The Teflon. So I was just cleaning my. Surprise, surprise! I was cleaning guns.
That is a
this weekend.
surprise.
Shocking.
Yeah, and the one with the Teflon was like so much easier than the one without.
Yeah.
So yeah, Teflon coating, Cerakoting, hydro dipping, and they do other stuff for other things that are non-gun, like powder coating and some other stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, they do all kinds of gun coatings.
Yep.
So check them out.
Super high quality stuff.
blackicecoatings.com. Check out their Instagram, and they always post pictures of their latest projects.
Right.
So I'm waiting for them to get back before I take my 308 Hog Hunter in to get the.
Yeah, I think they're up in Alaska, aren't they?
Yes, they're having fun.
Trooping around up there.
I'm gonna get the flying pigs like print all over it. Yeah.
Nice.
I figure
Why
why
would you
not?
not? Yeah.
Why not? So, anyways, blackicecoatings.com.
Yep.
Also, noebulletmolds.com. They make the best bullet makers around. So bullet molds. And Oh, let's see. The two latest ones that I've been working with is it's the Taco bullet, but extrapolated out to 357 and also 338. So I am going to be using the 338 bullet in my new rifle, the 8.6 Blackout. Yeah, 8.6 Blackout. But with cast lead, from what I've heard from my buddy Kenny from the Eagle Eye Shooting Channel, is if you're using cast lead, you got to jam the bullets, so that the jump,
just shred the bullet.
Just start shredding the bullet with that fast, three twist. So he says he's had some good luck.
But that's how you clear a Texas Star with one shot.
and then how you open up your suppressor to a different caliber. That one usually isn't so fun. So I'm going to be doing some testing with that, and hopefully soon. I got to get some more. It's hard because with all of my other Wildcats, getting the brass to sacrifice for them is easy because it's like 223, 308, something like that. This one, it's like sacrificing 6.5 Creedmoor brass, and that's like not so fun because it's a little bit more expensive. And I don't know, I have a 6.5 Creedmoor, the 22 Creedmoor. I just don't want to use up my brass. But anyways, NOEBulletMolds.com.
Use the code
FLT001 and it'll save you like 10%.
Very
and
cool.
It does stack with any sales that they have going on. So
wow, even better.
Yeah, and it stacks with your $1,000 discount. So if you're a high roller at NOE, it pays off.
He's just giving you stuff at this point.
Yeah. So he's actually working on some other cool projects.
Yeah.
Probably don't need to talk about today.
Okay. Utah Airguns, UtahAirguns.com.
I'm going there after this.
I have a truckload of air tank caddies I'm delivering as soon as we're done here. So yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of cool stuff there.
They are the sellers of the most accurate air guns on planet Earth.
Yes.
They're amazing.
They are. Have you had a chance?
I have an Impact, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you know. Yeah, they have the Crown.
Yep.
The Crown is the kind of traditional rifle stock gun, and they have some of those with steel tanks for really quite inexpensive comparatively to what they normally cost. So I was thinking I might pick up a spare with air quotes.
Third Crown.
Yeah, I love my Crown. I have an Impact Compact and then the Crown, but they have these new bottles that are 700.
Yeah,
CCs
long
or
ones.
whatever. Yeah. So I was thinking about throwing that on my Crown because you got a long barrel anyways. So then you can shoot like
go
a whole
semi.
weekend.
Yeah, full semi.
Go full semi.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah, UtahAirguns.com.
Use the code AirCandy. You get free shipping and turret stickers.
Yeah.
Magholder, magholder.com. I talked to Ricky last week, and I believe the new double stack 9mm, or not 9mm, 10mm and 45mm mag carriers, mag holders are shipping very, very soon.
Have you seen those before?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those are pretty sweet.
Yeah.
They mount horizontally.
Like along your belt, kind of.
And they use like a detent.
Yep.
To
it's got a
clip into the
Teflon coated spring steel that grabs the magazine right where your gun does.
So
yeah,
awesome.
They're super cool. Go
so
check
it holds
them
it good,
out.
but then you can pull it out too.
Yeah.
And it's not too tight.
And it doesn't poke your fat rolls.
Yeah.
Not that we have any of those.
If you happen to have that.
Stan's not here, so you know.
But use the code.
Get in the van, I
That's right.
have candy.
Get in the van, I have candy.
And it'll save you like 22.5%.
22.5%.
It's very specific.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And then last but not least, we have Concealment Solutions at concealmentsolutions.com. Right now is a good time to order your Cobra drop leg holster or your Cobra chest harness. Just saying. I've been selling a ton of that. Those have been my biggest sellers right now. Just because I think the hunting season, they're both great options for carrying a backup.
Yeah, the cool thing about the chest holster is that does it come with the clips, or do they have to buy them separate?
No, the Cobra chest holster combo, I think is what it's called. It comes with the chest harness and the quick clip belt clips, so you can take it off the harness, put the belt clips on, and run it just on your belt like a regular holster.
Yeah, outside the waistband holster.
On the chest. And to my knowledge, I haven't seen another chest holster out there that will do that.
Yeah.
Nor have I.
Yeah.
So. And it's cheaper than a lot of them.
Yeah. I like
it's less
item.
expensive, I should say. It's not cheap. It's actually it's quite high quality,
Big
like
difference.
everything
Yeah, big
else.
difference,
But
though.
it's
Yeah, and it's handy if you're doing, like say hunting or something where you want it up higher.
Right.
If you're like backpacking, then you have the backpack going over your waist,
Right.
so it doesn't,
Yep.
it's out of the way, on your chest, easy to grab. So for all you outdoorsy folks or the people who
it's.
just want to wear it on their chest,
I mean,
check it out.
it'd be great. I got guys that are motorcycling with
Just about to say
them,
motorcycle trip would be great. Yeah.
or
dirt biking.
ATVing, snowmobiling, all that kind of stuff. It's just kind of ideal because it keeps it out of the way. It's comfortable. Testing it, I've backpacked with it multiple times. Fly fishing. I even took my P365 XL with the red dot sight on it, canyoneering, and just not that I felt like I really needed it there, but I'm like, well, it's a good test, We did
See like a sheep on the cliff and you can
5
smoke
or 6
it. Yeah.
rappels and squeezing through some slots.
That's
So they're super functional, really high quality stuff. So check them out. When you check out, use the code Show Me the Candy, and you'll save 15% off your entire order.
all right.
Okay, that knocks out our sponsors. Have we got listener feedback?
We do have listener feedback, just 3 of them. So
I'm shocked that people are still listening.
I know.
And
well, there's
giving
at
feedback.
least 3 guys listening.
Okay.
Okay, so this first one is from Mike in Pennsylvania, and he says, "Taco, this is all your fault, LOL. So
Usually
I am
is.
now hoarding lead." He included a picture of this lead that he had collected.
That's funny because we were calling Taco a hoarder earlier today.
Yeah. Different kind of hoarder, yeah. And he says, "My brother does house clean-outs for hoarders." Oh, speaking of hoarders.
Oh,
Whoa.
Yeah. I wonder if he'll clean... No. just
that's
kidding.
a terrible job to have.
Well, you might be able to find some pretty good treasures. You
You probably
That's what they all say.
could, but
that's what the hoarders say. Yeah.
yeah.
It's like, my house is full of treasures. I
Think
can't
of
get rid
all the literal crap you have to
Yes.
shovel through to get
yeah.
to it.
I've seen some bad ones.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's...
Anyway, carry on.
Okay. And he says, so his brother does house cleanouts for hoarders, and I call dibs on lead. Question is, what is a good bottom pour pot that I can use to make fishing sinkers and bullets? The sinker sales will be funding the bullet casting. Thanks. Keep up the great shows and videos.
There's an idea.
Yeah, so I'd say if you're going to go kind of the Kmart special bottom pour pot, then you'll probably go for the Lee Pro 420. It works, it drips, a little bit finicky here and there, but it gets the job done, right? Maybe I should not say Kmart, it's the Harbor Freight. Yeah. So if you want to go up a level, up a step to something that's a little bit nicer, I would jump all the way up to the RCBS Pro Melt. And it's the Pro Melt 2 because they don't make the Pro Melt 1 anymore. And that one has a digital PID, so you can set the temperature with a button, and then it will monitor your temperature and keep it at that temperature. So that's really nice. The Lee, seems like to get the Lee functional, you have to add all these cool things, but then it ends up bringing the price up to the point where you're like, man, I could have just bought the big one or the nicer one.
Yep.
And if you can't find the Pro Melt, or if you want to try the Lyman version, then go with the Lyman Mag 25. And both of those pots hold 25 pounds of lead, and they both have digital PIDs. I would highly recommend getting the NOE mold guide for both of those. More essential for the Lyman because they were retarded when they designed their mold guide, and most molds do not fit in their mold guide. It's specific to their brand of molds, which if every caster knows that, you start collecting molds, right?
Right.
You get one, you get another, and rarely do you have just one brand of molds.
Right.
So,
Unless they're NOE.
yes. Yeah. Well, even
Stick with what
even
works.
I have like a bunch of different brands. I have a lot of NOE molds though.
Yes, I've seen
Yeah, I've got the biggest mold collection of anybody I know.
that. I think Al's the only one that has more than you do.
Currently. Yeah, he has quite a bit of inventory right now.
Yeah.
Approaching, I think, $1 million.
Holy cow.
So lots of molds on the shelves there. But those are the two pots I would go for. If you're wanting to spend even more, I would say probably don't.
Yeah.
You know, they make a magma pot that's pretty nice, but for the cost of the other two, those are great.
Yeah.
So Lee pot if you're going cheap, but get a bottom pour. Don't go ladle because it's just easier, faster when you want to do more higher
if
production.
he's talking about producing fishing weights to sell, probably going to be better off spending a little bit more money because it's going to be running a lot. And he's just going to get frustrated trying to run a batch of
and then
stuff.
maintaining the temperature and stuff. So.
Right.
All right, Matt H writes in and he says, was re-listening to the Gun Dudes episodes, and he has parentheses, my brain hurts. And the Misfire Award for episode 75 was a guy who shot at kids who shot at him with a paintball gun. Apparently, this isn't rare. This one tops it. Dad drives his kid to a friend's house to shoot with a paintball gun. Friend's dad opens fire with a real gun, striking the kid. Then dad runs over the kid. Best Parent Award. So we're gonna actually read that story with our news article. But yeah, and then we'll comment on that. It's like
that happened long time ago. If it was episode 75.
No, this is a new article.
Oh,
he was just saying that reminded him of that. Yeah,
okay.
It's just people are dumb.
Yes, they
these
are.
days.
So
I think people have always been dumb, but
yeah.
I think people are even dumber now.
So it's like compounding interest.
Yeah, and I would
stupidity.
say the risk has gone up too. Like violence is up.
Way
up. People crazy in the streets, that kind of stuff. So I can't, like, as an adult now, I can't do the things that I could do when I was growing up.
Yeah.
Because the consequences are more dire.
Right.
But
yeah, I actually have a real estate license. I sell homes for a living, and I think about that all the time. Like, oh, I better not do that. I could lose my license. You know, like it's a real big consequence of like even just like dumb, like, you know, like light fireworks off or just dumb little stuff that you think like no big deal, but it's like it's not worth my career. You know.
Well, just like when you're a kid and playing with dry ice, doing different things with dry ice
and water bottles. Maybe.
You actually get charged with felonies for certain things nowadays.
A friend of yours said that, right?
Well, I read about it in the news.
A friend of a friend?
Some kids were playing with dry ice in 2-liter bottles.
I thought this was a personal story. So.
No, and they got charged with felonies.
Wow.
And it's like destroy a kid's life. You know,
that seems a bit extreme.
It is extreme, but anyways. Okay, the next one is from B Miser. And he says, with primers, powder, and brass coming back, I think now is the time to expand my reloading prospects beyond 9mm. As Taco reloads just about everything under the sun, I was curious which cartridges he considers the most rewarding to reload and shoot, all things considered or with caveats. 338 Spectre and 4570 have ballads written for them, but he also has said his 300 Blackout Bunny Fart in the CVA is a fan fave too. Love the podcast.
It seems like you talk more about
opinions.
300 Blackout loads than anything else.
I would say 300 Blackout would be a good one to start with.
I was going to say it's Blackout for sure.
And I would even say don't go AR-15, go bolt action or break action.
Yeah.
Both Jim and I have multiple 300 Blackouts that are just like they're just so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, I took a customer shooting the other day with his gun we built. It was an AR that was really nice, and he said, "Hey, would you bring that Blackout? Yeah, that bolt action." And I did, and he shot once. It goes canceled, and it's like a $4,000 custom gun, and he was like, "I have to have this." And I just like Blackout because there really is savings, I'd say, like in that. I think you can save in anything. Obviously, there's the initial investment, but Blackout, it's really expensive factory ammo. And
it's way more expensive than it should be.
I agree.
Right?
But the beauty of the Blackout is it's so versatile. Like you can buy the 90 grain cast stuff that you're doing. Or how light are you getting now?
Well, it depends. I've done some round balls.
They're like 70 or something.
So it's like 44 grains or something.
Crap.
It's like shooting a big BB gun.
Right. Yeah, really big one. Yeah.
But you could still kill squirrels. And
Absolutely.
stuff with it. but it's super funny.
Well, and I have cast 265 grain bullets.
Yeah, on the heavy side.
They're amazing. They're super quiet. They load fine. Everything's great. So there's some big savings. Yeah.
So if you want to dive into the world of casting, reloading, all that stuff, I would say 300 Blackout is just an amazing cartridge to play around with. Mm-hmm. And I have these fancy AR-15s, but if I think 300 Blackout, let's go shooting, I think bolt action, break action.
CVA,
and the CVA, the Encore, So and they're just... Everybody who shoots them.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, my buddy has a Ruger American, and it takes AR mags and stuff. Yep. That's a good one, too. So I would say that would be a more common and easy to find or make brass for. Just all around good one to start with.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And then you mentioned the 4570. You can't go wrong with the 4570. It always impresses. Like everybody, I hand
with
my
the right suppressor. Yeah.
Well, even without, like
if
you're going for like, I want to blow this 10-pound jug of peanut butter into like just blow it up.
Sounds expensive. No.
What is the best way? Oh, I'd grab the 4570.
Yeah.
Hands down, it just destroys.
Right.
And you can load like the 300 Blackout because it's not like a semi-auto.
Yeah.
Well, 300 Blackout is for semi-auto,
right.
But with the brake action or bolt actions, the 4570 with the lever action, man, you can do like the pea shooter loads, like with round balls.
Cowboy action stuff.
Yeah, you can do 3 round balls in a case and
like
do
a shotgun.
Yeah, like a grape shot type load. And I mean, 4570 is such a long case, and you can. So cost savings will be extraordinary with the 4570, and you can still play around like crazy. Mm-hmm. So you can. I think the heaviest bullet I've shot is like 600 grains or something in the 4570.
Is that a mold you have?
Yeah, it was for the 458 SOCOM, but you can share bullets back and forth. So
wow.
Anyways, 4570, hands down, is I haven't met anyone who has bought a 4570 and actually shot it a bunch who doesn't like it.
Yeah.
So
I would also add one more caliber to that list. If he's just loading 9, go to 223, clearly, for obvious reasons. But I would say that would open the door to, if you want to get into long-range shooting, I actually think 223 is super underrated in a long-range gun. I've shot mine 1,200 yards plus, and it's very consistent. And you're loading these little teeny, teeny, but 80 grain bullets, something heavy for a 223, but you're loading them longer because you can use the AICS pattern mag.
Yeah.
That kind of becomes the versatility now where you can shoot like the 40s and 45s, whatever, but also the really heavy stuff too. So
I think you and I first met at Gunny's
we did.
talking about this
Creedmoor.
The Creedmoor, but we were also looking at the Savage rifles.
Yep.
That had the, what were they called? The
LRPV. The single feed.
The single feed left side.
Right bolt, left port.
Yes.
That's what it means actually. LRPV. Left, right. It's something like right hand, left port or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Or long range precision, something LRP. Long range precision.
Yeah. Maybe that's it. Anyway.
But yeah, we were talking about fast twist.
Yeah, like
bolt
7
action,
twist.
because back then they didn't make 7 twist bolt actions.
And because they didn't really make the bullet for it too.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't bullets having like.
So that was one of the. Well, I guess that gun was the first one I shot 1,000 yards with the 223 with those VLDs. Yep. The VLDs were the first heavy bullets, I believe, in 223. Anyways, fun stuff. 223 is great. It's more of a pain to reload because it's necked and you have crimped primer pockets sometimes.
Yeah, just don't buy those. Just buy a 223 brass and you're good.
Buy new brass.
Yeah.
But okay, let's hurry and hit this news story.
News story?
Yeah, and this one was from Matt H.
Okay, Miami. Thinking his home was under attack, a Florida homeowner shot and wounded a 10-year-old whose father had driven him to participate in a drive-by shooting with paintball gun, police said. Michael.
Drive-by shooting.
Yes. First off, paintball guns are not harmless.
No.
If you get shot in the eye with a paintball, then it will take your eyeball out.
Right.
It's got a lot of mass.
Yes.
It's a 68 caliber ball full of projectile, and if the shell breaks, it can cut.
Absolutely.
So I've killed birds with paintball guns before.
I was waiting for I've killed.
Yeah. So anyways, So just thinking that you can do this drive-by for a fun thing, and apparently there's like a party you're going on or something. But yeah, keep going.
Michael Williams, 26, told Opelika police his son begged him to drive by a home where young people were gathered Sunday night so he could fire his paintball out the window. According to a police report released Tuesday, Williams drove by the home as his son fired off several rounds, police said. The homeowner confused the paintball for real gunfire. They sound identical.
They do. They actually do.
I guess I will say it could sound like suppressed fire or a 22 or something.
Yeah. If it's subsonic, it sounds about the same. That
too
popping sound, but not the high pitched like roaring.
Yeah.
So maybe like a handgun.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure, that's true. Okay, confused it. Telling police he thought his family was being attacked, he fired one shot which struck the child. The boy then lost his balance and was run over by his father's vehicle, police said.
Oh, gosh.
No additional details on the child's injuries or conditions were released. Williams drove the child home and his mother called 911, according to police. The Miami Herald reports the father was charged with child neglect with great bodily harm. According to police report, Williams acted recklessly by agreeing to conduct a drive-by paintball shooting. It was not clear if Williams had an attorney who could comment on the charge.
Yeah, so that
is wrong on so many levels.
That is a parent not being a parent.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
And
gotta grow up a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's still living with his mother apparently, because he drove home with his kid and his mother.
No, the mother of the child called.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So his wife.
So I'm doing some math here. The dad's 26, the kid's 10.
Oh.
Was he 16 when he had this kid?
Apparently.
Yeah, or maybe he married someone who
right. That's true.
That's
true.
Yeah.
Could be.
26 is a young dad for a kid that has a paintball gun.
That's that old.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so my son, who is 13, just bought himself a airsoft gun, which it's a piece of crap, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's just one of those Springer. He's like, I just want it to shoot army men in the backyard. I'm like, all right, whatever.
Have you given him the chat?
Oh, yeah. He's had that chat many, many times. But we've had to go over it again because he's been a little bit irresponsible with it. And I told him yesterday, I'm like, look, if you have to treat that like it's a real gun. It means you're not shooting it in the house. You're not pointing it at people. And if you do, then it's gone. It's just the way it is, you know? If you can't be responsible and have some self-control with that,
absolutely,
then... And he's shot before. It's not like he doesn't know anything about guns, you know? But I think in his 13-year-old brain, well, it's not a real gun. That's not the right mentality. And same with, like you said, with a paintball gun, you know? And a drive-by shooting...
Yeah,
that's
sounds...
just... Yeah, be a parent.
Yeah. Sometimes as a parent, you gotta say no.
Yeah.
And not try to be the cool dad or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Be responsible instead.
Explain to him, okay, well, what could happen if we do this?
Yeah, my dad was just telling me a story about, like, there's, I don't know, it's The Art of War or some book. It talks about minimizing the maximum, like, guarantee that the maximum problem does not happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, he's telling me to wear eye protection when I do something.
Yeah.
Not shooting, but I said, I was like, I was using a nail gun. That's what it was.
Oh.
I was like, I had to tack a couple brads into something really fast. He goes, well, you could lose an eye, you know. And anyway, I feel like you could look at this kid and say, well, the worst thing that could happen is we shoot someone in the eyeball, and we crash our car, like, all these things can go wrong. Do we want to do that? Yeah, no. Just nip it in the bud and be over.
You have to have some balance too, though, because if you apply that logic to everything, you'd never leave the house.
Sure, no, I agree.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have to weigh the consequences of the decisions that you're making. Not growing up, but raising my older son, you know, and I spent a lot of time outdoors, climbing and backpacking and mountain biking and everything, and you know, kids, especially the boys at a certain age, feel invincible.
They do,
right? And it's like, I'm gonna jump off this, and it's like, okay, let's think about this for a second. What is the potential that could happen if things go wrong? Well, you know, maybe this or this or this, but that probably won't happen. I'm like, it probably won't. But what's the payoff if you do this and you are successful? You know, and let's weigh those two things. You know, it's like, well, I might break my leg And if it comes off good, it's like, well, I just jumped off this thing, and it's like
looked cool for a second.
Yeah, it's like, is that worth the risk?
Right.
And so that's something that we're almost to that point with my younger son. He's not quite as reckless as his older brother was, but.
Because he's seen the broken legs happen, right?
No.
Yeah, sometimes you can learn from other people's mistakes.
Right. But anyway, yeah. Teach your kids to weigh the consequences and make good decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And then if they have a really terrible idea, then just shoot it down.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Explain why and then shoot it down.
Yeah. But I am also a firm believer in letting your kids fail.
Yep.
But the degree of failure,
exactly.
like if someone can die, then it's not worth it.
I'm not going to let you fail if failure means there's hospital bills for you or somebody else.
You can allow them to fall, but let them to fall on the net,
right?
Not on the ground.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. But I think one of the problems we have in the world today is parents will not allow their children to fail.
I agree.
True.
And that's how you learn. That's how you grow. That's how you become a better, smarter person, is through failure. Mm-hmm. Yep. So let your kids fail.
All right. We are now going to talk about our topic.
Taco is giddy with excitement.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So both Jim and I, he brought a little suitcase for his suppressors. I had to bring like a little suitcase bag.
I just threw him in a suitcase, like a little. I guess it's like a Pelican or
it's like a gun vault.
Yeah.
It looks like a miniature suitcase.
Yeah.
Yeah. Both he and I are big suppressor fans. And a while back, how many episodes ago? I don't know, like 5, 10.
Well, it's been like 4 months, so probably 3 episodes.
Yeah. Some of the listeners had some questions about suppressors.
Several feedback.
Yeah.
Emails from people with questions specifically about suppressors.
And I mentioned that I knew a guy who I would ask if he could come on because we both are pretty experienced with suppressors and quite a bit different brands.
Yeah.
So your collection is way different than mine.
There's some overlap probably, but there's a lot of differences.
Yes.
Yeah. A lot.
So are we going to focus more on talking about getting into suppressors for your first time?
Let's briefly cover why you should buy a suppressor and what does it take to actually go and get one.
Okay.
Can I answer this?
Yes.
Well, I'll start. I guess we can talk about this for a while, but I think the first thing I'd say is everybody thinks because of video games that they make the bullet go slower and you're way less accurate.
Yeah, I've gotten that too on videos.
It drives me crazy.
Yeah.
But it's quite the opposite.
Yeah, if anything, it makes your groups tighten up.
Yeah.
And it also gives you
more speed. Just a little.
I mean, we're talking probably single digit or...
Yeah, it's 15 feet per second.
Yeah,
maybe,
15. Something like that.
That's in a supersonic caliber. But
yeah.
I don't really play video games, so I don't know which one it is. It's probably one of those
Call of Duty
or one of those.
Don't look at me. I don't play them either.
But it's one of these games, and everyone's calling me old now on this podcast, but one of the games, if you have a suppressor, it like limits your abilities, and it's kind of just to keep the game fair, I believe. Like you're suddenly less accurate, shoot slower, you have to hold high, all this stuff. And it's like pistol or rifle, either one. And everyone comes to me and goes, why would I ever need one or want one? It makes you less accurate and shoots slower. It's stupid. And like, well, it would be stupid, but it's not true. Yeah. So that's the first thing I'd say is that's totally false because who makes video games?
Yeah.
Nerds who don't like guns.
Yeah.
Yeah, occasionally you get nerds who do like
guns. But they also don't like suppressors, or they don't know suppressors.
They don't know, yeah. Because it takes a little bit extra steps than a lot of the typical gun owner will just steer away from.
They don't care about the accuracy in that part because they want to keep... If a suppressor made you quiet and accurate and the bullet hit harder, well, who wouldn't have a suppressor in the game, right?
Right.
So it's like a duh.
Okay, it should be something that you have to earn in the game.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about cons of like owning a suppressor or buying a suppressor. One would be the wait time. You can't just go in and buy it and walk out same day.
Right.
2, I would say ballistic wise, your barrel will heat up faster because instead of having the hot gases just blow through.
In an AR.
Yeah, and
I don't think it makes much difference in a bolt action. Other than having a hot thing on the end of your gun, I guess that's maybe
sometimes with the baffle shape, it kicks stuff back in the barrel. So I would assume, well, because you think about a bolt action, then instead of the hot gases blowing right through, if you fire around and then you blow through your barrel, then smoke comes out. So I do think that with the bolt action, probably less impact on it, but
much less,
gas guns,
way more.
It heats up the barrels a little bit faster. So.
I'd say your AR will get way dirtier than you ever imagined.
Okay, yes. Yeah. So guns will get dirtier faster.
Yep.
Like even the bolt action, because like I said, sometimes the powder gets kicked back in instead of just flying straight through.
Your muzzle brake, if you just had a muzzle brake, that would get 10 times dirtier too, which is easy to clean. But it's just another thing to do.
So you might have to clean it a little bit more often, or if you clean it regularly, then it'll just be a little bit dirtier.
Yeah. And then there's ways around, like there's a way to limit that with suppressor design, the flow-through stuff that's popular, or piston system stuff, like your
Jackal.
ARV. Is that what it is? No.
It's the Jackal.
It's the Jackal, that's right,
Yeah.
That's the ARVs.
So it's a piston upper.
Yep.
So then it's not eating where it poops.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Huh.
AKs don't eat where they poop, but ARs do.
This is my PWS. I brought a PWS Mark 111 Mod 2. This is a long stroke piston like an AK.
Okay.
So it gets dirty up here where it vents out the excess pressure, but the action stays very clean. So
that's awesome.
And suppressed.
Yeah. So any other downsides you could think of?
Will cost $200.
That's what I was going to bring up.
So the cost plus the stamp cost. So you'd have it's
right.
almost
That's for me personally. The wait time, whatever. That's not that big of a deal. I think it's stupid, but it's not that big of a deal to deter me from wanting to buy one. But I just have an issue with paying $200 for the privilege of owning something.
For the privilege of having something you can legally own anyway. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's something that's why one of the reasons why I don't own any suppressors. Not because I don't want to, and someday I will. It's just getting over that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Be careful. Your first time you pay that, you'll never go back.
As you can see.
It's like getting a tattoo. Once you have one, they just
slippery
slope.
Yeah. Okay, so that's, any other cons you could think of? I think that pretty much...
I'd say it adds a little bit of weight to your gun.
Okay,
but
weight.
That's pretty minor.
And you can get lightweight suppressors, titanium and stuff like that. Yep. Aluminum, titanium. So, adds length, but So that's about it for cons.
But it adds coolness.
It does.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
Coolness.
Yeah. That's about all the pros
overtakes.
Okay. All right. So pros. Why should people buy a suppressor? Okay. One.
It looks awesome.
Okay. Jim's number one reason. It looks awesome. So I would say my number one reason would be you can shoot without hearing protection. Which allows you to have regular conversations, and you don't have the pressure of the earmuffs pushing against your head. And
that's said by someone who's experiencing that a lot, where you go to the range and you're either indoor, which we'll say that's always bad no matter what, but if you're outdoor under a cover where I go a lot, it's louder than if you're just in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Because that sound kind of
echoes off the
it echoes a lot because it stays under there. But even then, you don't realize how great it is. Like if you have 3 buddies or 10 buddies with you that are shooting all suppressed and you're all just talking and making jokes and stuff, it's a great time. Where instead you kind of stop talking to each other if you have your ear pro on. And one guy's got the really nice in-ear, really nice stuff. One guy got the muffs and the foamies, and no one can hear anything. And it's just it's almost like taking a date to a movie where you don't talk.
Yeah.
Not that you date your buddies, but I just mean you don't get the hangout feel.
Yeah.
And I'd say safety. You can't necessarily hear them saying ceasefire all the time.
Yeah.
I've had it happen where people are yelling and they're 50 yards away from me saying stop firing. And I couldn't hear a thing you're saying because you're not suppressed. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what else? Pros.
Way less recoil.
Okay. I was gonna say suppressors act like a great muzzle brake, but without the huge annoying concussion to the people next to you.
Everybody else.
To left and right of you.
Yeah, the caveat to that is the all the testing and all this stuff. A muzzle brake alone is supposedly better for actual recoil reduction because it can deflect it all backwards and stuff.
Yeah, directional.
because the suppressor's all venting forward, right? Through the muzzle or through forward venting ports or things. But I think the perceived recoil change is way more than the actual, because there's no concussion.
Yes.
And the concussion is what scares new shooters. It's what makes you flinch or blink or anticipate all that stuff. So when that concussion or that big bang, and when you feel your brain rattling around, you feel your feelings, your fillings in your teeth rattle. That's not necessarily fun for me.
Yeah.
I think at some point it is fun to shoot the biggest gun, the loudest gun, but it kind of stops being fun after a while. And having the suppressor take care of that is wonderful.
Yeah, that is. So I would say one of the pros also in combination to what we've been talking about with the concussion and stuff is whenever I take new shooters out, we start with suppressed guns because they can hear instructions.
Yep.
Yeah.
So 300 blackout and suppressed 22s, that's what we usually start out with. And they can hear instructions. They don't, and the concussion doesn't scare them. So they don't develop the flinch and things like that. And so once they're comfortable with the guns, then we can shoot some unsuppressed things.
I took my wife's friend Stephanie shooting once, and she was pretty petrified of guns. I love that scenario. It's oh, I'm going to convert you right now. You're going to love this, And I started off with a suppressed 22 rifle, a competition big rifle. That's
nice.
I mean, it sounds, like that. And I was kind of overselling it, okay, keep it tight to your shoulder. It's gonna push you real hard, I was kind of scare her almost. And she shoots and goes, "What just happened?" And I you just shot it. She's like, "What?"
That was it.
Yeah. She's like, "You," she called you ass, but she instantly goes, "Well, let's do a bigger one." That was nothing,
Yeah.
But if
you can work up.
If I reverse that, if I handed her a 500 Magnum, she would drop it and run away. She would never want anything to do with it. But taking the stairway approach, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So other pros, we talked about how your groups tighten up. I think part of that is something to do with the recoil management, not flinching.
Yeah.
But then also I think there's a ballistic thing happening where instead of the bullet coming out and all the pressure being released all at the same time, it's a more gradual release. And so I think that helps tighten up groups. But
I've heard people describe suppressors as balloons, where if you pop the balloon, it's super loud and fast and kind of scare you, and if you slowly let that out, it makes kind of a funny fart sound, but it's way quieter and it doesn't scare you. It's just more slow, and that's kind of how I look at that too. It's exactly the same thing, where it's just a slow release. It's kind of holding the pressure then slowly letting it out. It's accurate.
And then another pro would be for the hunters, if you can hunt with a suppressor, if it's legal in your state or country, then a lot of the guys in Texas, right, the hog hunters, they love shooting gas guns suppressed. And the reason for it is the animals, the hogs, can't tell where the shot is coming from.
Definitely.
And so they'll just run side to side, and you get multiple shots.
You're not scaring everything off.
Yep, for sure.
And so there's an advantage for that.
And
Other
it's
reasons,
just polite. Like you said, when you're out shooting and everybody's shooting suppressed but one person, it's obnoxious.
Well, we say that the suppressed shooters are the gentlemen of the shooting
yes.
world. Right?
Everything else is uncivilized.
Right. Yeah. So it does make a difference.
Yeah, there's lots of reasons why owning and shooting suppressed is great. And like Jim said, once you get one, you're hooked because you realize all those benefits.
Yeah.
So a lot of people have misconceptions about suppressors. They think you have to have a class 3 license in order to buy a suppressor, but it's not true. Almost anyone can buy and own a suppressor. There's just a tax, like a $200. People hear tax stamp, but I don't know if they know what that means.
It's literally a stamp.
It's just it's a
postage
piece.
Stamp.
It's a postage stamp looking thing that says $200 on it.
Not forever or 38 cents or whatever.
Yeah. It's just $200, and that gets thrown on your form once it's approved.
Yep.
So to buy one, you go into a gun shop.
Next Shot Precision, for example.
Yeah. And then there are basically about 2 different ways you can buy it. You can buy it as an individual, and there are pros and cons for each of these. Or you can buy it as a and kind of like a legal entity, like a trust or corporation or something else. I think or maybe it's just trust and corporation.
Yeah, I think there is a couple, but
yeah. And so some of the benefits of doing it as an individual is then you don't have to get anybody else's fingerprints, photo IDs in the submission of that. And are there any other benefits besides that? Because I always tell everybody the trust is the way to go.
It is, but there's a little more to do. Yeah. Like to do each device takes kind of everyone has to get involved every time.
Yeah.
Which is
so
annoying.
One of the cons for doing it as an individual is that you can't just give it to your son to like go. He and his friends are going to go shooting, assuming he's like 21 or whatever.
Right.
And he cannot. Basically, no one in your family or friends can be in possession of it legally without you.
Without you. Yeah. So if you took your son, of course he could shoot your suppressed whatever. If he went alone, not so much.
It's like a felony or something. It's bad.
Yeah, it's pretty stupid, but yeah.
So what happens? So
and if you die,
that's where I was going.
And your son wants to have it.
Probate.
Then basically, you have to double.
You reapply.
You have to pay the
you have to pay that $200 stamp fee again.
Is specifically a transfer tax. It's transferring ownership. That's it. It's not a from manufacturer to civilian tax. It's a transfer. So you can literally buy an individual, which I've done, and I've transferred it to my trust. So from myself to my trust.
And that was
$200. Yeah, so $400 total.
You paid $200
twice. Double, yeah. So you're sitting over here not paying it once.
Right.
I have certain devices I paid it twice on the same item. But so ultimately,
so it makes sense to probably set up a trust.
Yeah.
I'd say do it right. I've got customers in the business that they come and go. I don't have any brothers. I don't have any sons, and or I do have sons that they don't care about guns at all. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, they might once you have a suppressor, but but they're like, no, like I don't care, and like, oh, cool, like it's way easier to apply for because we could do an e-file really fast now. I've got a couple of buddies that do individual e-forms, and they're fast. Meaning the application process is fast, and with the e-forms,
you're still waiting the same
6 months. No, e-forms are faster than the old paper way.
Yeah, paper way was like 12, 13 months, and now it's 3 to 6, I think.
Yeah, we had a lot about 5, and there's some that are not approved at 5, and we're thinking it's getting a little. I just feel like we've flipped the backlog from paper to e-form.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
we just traded it.
Yeah.
So what if you have a trust? Can you still do the e-form? Or
yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. The difference in doing a trust is there's a form called a responsible persons questionnaire. So every person on the trust has to have a passport photo, a fingerprint, file or document, and answer questions. It's kind of the same questions as when you buy a gun.
Right. Like a 4473.
But that's every device. And we have a lot of people that buy, like, because of what we suggest to new
every time
guys.
You purchase a new thing, in the submission process, you have to submit
They have to
photos, fingers.
Just like every time you buy a new gun.
So say you and 2 sons are on a trust together, and that's say the only trustees. Mm-hmm. All 3 of you have to file the questionnaire, you have to have the fingerprint cards and answer those questions and file that all together, each device.
Every time. So every time you buy a new one.
If you buy like a 22 can, that's a couple $100, and then there's a tax.
Right.
And then you buy a 9mm can, that's $500-$600, and then there's a tax. You have to all do that all over and over again.
So would fill out the form and
fingerprints, passport. So now with the e-forms though, we're doing files. Like it's a software file of your fingerprints. It's not like
some of it's a little bit more automated.
Yeah.
So you don't have to physically go get their fingerprints. No, because I'm thinking. I mean, I've got one of my sons lives out of state.
Yeah,
right.
So that would be kind of a pain in the butt to have to do every time.
Very true. I don't disagree with that. But with the e-forms and the silencer shop stuff, that's way better because you can do the fingerprints. I think you're supposed to like once every year technically, or like the passport photo too.
Yeah, if you use silencer shop as their system, then they ask you to
because they want to catch those new scars you have on your fingers or something. But but
the hair changing from black to gray.
Right, exactly. But it can get pretty streamlined, but it's just the trust is several times more complicated, especially if you have like 5 or 6 people. Holy cow, it's very complex. So,
that's all thanks to Obama, by the way.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it used to be pretty easy where it just
with the
here's
trust.
the trustees, trust like maybe the grantor or like the head trustee is going to be filing for it, and you just do it once, and it's super easy. And or you could or you take people off file and then add them back.
Yeah, you can still do that, but you can't do that if they're in possession of the item.
If they're currently in possession?
Yeah, like if it's your brother and you take him off the trust
right.
to buy a new thing, then you'd be breaking some laws there technically. So,
right.
But anyways, so those are the kind of the two ways to do it. I always tell people just bite the bullet, do the trust, and I say buy it, like buy as many items as you can with just you on the trust, and then you can add the people later, and then if you want to, buy more items, you can either set up a new trust or just you got to get those people to submit the photos and
I'll say a trust can be like Sounds for Shop is a single shot trust. It's like $20, but that's a trust for that item. That's the theory behind that. But then there's trust like a real serious trust you can get that's thousands of dollars, like family planning, like all that stuff.
Yeah,
and there's stuff in between that's $150, $200. That's really common and really fast.
Yeah, there's some online places that do it.
Do you recommend getting an attorney to do a trust?
You'll spend more doing that.
Yeah, you can definitely do that. And I like doing attorney stuff because you can ask them questions about like, okay, can I remove this person and then file and put them back, or like how does that stuff work, and can I?
And all that stuff depends on how the trust was set up.
Right.
So the attorney stuff, like you get what you pay for sure.
Yeah.
I generally refer 1 to 2 attorneys. Jim Alder's a big one in the area. Like he's way involved in the NFA stuff and fighting against certain things. And then Phil Nelson's another good friend, and he's a lot less expensive, and he's still very smart. He really knows this stuff a lot, and he's heavily involved in like concealed carry law and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
one side note I'd throw in there to Jim's advice is that if you're going to go with a lawyer, don't go with a regular family trust lawyer. Go with someone who specializes in NFA trusts.
100%.
Because otherwise they might write it up wrong.
Because then you're asking like a family law guy to do corporate law. It's completely different worlds.
So get the right person for that who has experience.
For sure.
They might be a great like family trust person, but not for NFA stuff.
And that's Jim Alder specifically. He is a family law, or like he does trusts like all day, every day. But he's also an avid NFA guy, so he is like the perfect guy.
He's got good crossover.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so we're kind of getting lower on time.
Yes.
I want to do some rapid fire questions, and I'll just throw a question out, or Jason can throw it out, and we'll answer. Keep our answers somewhat brief. Okay, so for the first time buyer, what caliber would you go with, and why?
30 cal.
Okay.
Or 22.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. 22 and 30 cal. You got to have both.
It's the golden ticket.
Unless you don't own one of those calibers.
I don't care.
You steal.
Because here's why.
Buy your 30 cal, and then you get your 300
cal
blackout.
Can go with your 7s, 270s, 6.5s, 6s, 22s, 243, everything all in between.
Everything underneath.
Everything under.
Yes.
Huh. Okay.
22 can typically do 5.7, 22 mag, 17 HMR, all those. So basically all your rimfire.
Yeah.
And almost all your centerfires.
Yeah. Just by those two.
Boom. Yeah, 2 cans.
So if I put a 30 cal suppressor on a 22 rimfire,
don't do that.
Don't do that.
Okay, I thought.
Okay, so there. Okay, no. Rimfire cans are serviceable, meaning they come apart and you can clean the baffles.
Right.
Rimfire ammo is very
super
dirty.
Yeah.
And so, like, if you were to take a 500 round box of 22, you'll gunk up a suppressor, and you're gonna. If you shoot the whole box in one outing, you'll need to clean it after that.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. so let's back up then. If I put a 30 cal suppressor on my
223, totally fine.
In fact,
but how is it going to be less effective at suppressing the noise because it's a smaller?
Yes and no.
Caliber?
Yeah, that's tricky. I'd say like if you put your 45-70 can on a 223, probably won't be quite as good.
Okay.
But I'm holding the CGX Hyperion right now, and this we shot at Shuta with my 223 bolt action.
Okay.
And it people were bringing their friends back to see it. Like, look at this thing. This is crazy. Or you listen to it, right?
Yeah.
It's a 30 cal can.
Okay.
It's threaded 5/8 24.
So it's still very effective.
Crazy effective. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And typically, I'll throw this in that 5.56 cans usually are shorter and have
skinnier,
less volume, and that plays a big role
Yes.
in sound suppression.
It's not just the aperture of the
Yeah,
muzzle.
so 30 cal can, usually they're a little bit bigger and they have more volume, so they do suppress 223, 556 pretty
yes,
well.
very true.
But yeah, okay, so if
Quick
you
answer.
yeah, quick answer, and then what's your favorite 22 can if you were gonna say
Rimfire?
Yeah,
I gotta go with the Silencer Co Sparrow. I still love
the
that.
Sparrow. That's funny because that's my least favorite can.
I'll change your mind.
I have one.
So the reason
You're
is
doing it wrong, Taco.
So
No,
I shoot more 22 than most people do in their. I shoot more in a year than most people do in their lifetime.
Yeah.
And I shoot way further, way more accurate,
yeah.
like all that stuff. The Sparrow is a monocore design, and there's others like it. I'm not saying it's the only thing.
clamshell monocore.
Yes, clamshell. Yep. So there's two kind of half taco shell.
Yeah.
Right.
Taco shell
Yeah.
shaped.
I was gonna say half burrito, but taco shell. Good opportunity. And they kind of wrap up the core, and then there's the outer tube
Yeah.
that covers all that, and the nut. Because so typical, we call them K baffles or funnels.
Yeah.
That's a stack of funnels, and where does the crap go if you go muzzle up? It goes right down the barrel, and it gums everything up. And people think 22 ammo is really dirty. It is. I'm not saying it's not, but it gums up the action of your pistol or rifle, whether it's bolt action, semi-auto, whatever. And then people are like, this gun doesn't work. 22s suck. I'm not shooting 22s. The Sparrow, because it's kind of like slash mark, and then the hole's in the middle, not at the bottom point. Does that make sense? So you get slashes, and there's you kind of have these like low points where there's not the hole. So all that stuff collects there, and it just collects all the stuff, and it can't fall through the hole. It's the cleanest suppressor, and I think I brought 22 suppressors with me, but I probably have 6 or 7, and it's by far the cleanest. It's definitely one of the quietest, because I have like 30,000 rounds through them. Like they're really used and cleaned and used and cleaned, over and over again. I've been around more shots fired than probably anybody in the nation, I bet. I have never been fooled by someone dry firing or shooting a suppressed 22 with the exception of a Sparrow. My buddy was shooting his Rimex at 250 yards, and I was spotting right behind him, and I was watching like, oh, you're out? And he goes, no, I just hit that. And I thought he dry fired, and he did shoot. Like it was absolutely crazy.
That's interesting.
I'd say like the Oculus stuff gets really quiet too, the rugged stuff.
Okay.
But it's crazy. Like I just all around, it's easy to clean. It's quiet. It's one of the cheaper ones. There's other competing ones that are $100 more. They're louder, harder to clean. Like it just doesn't make sense.
Okay.
So that's my answer.
All right. So my answer is like exact opposite.
Okay.
So I'll say that what I found is the K baffles system.
Yep.
They're quieter.
Traditionally they are, yes.
And they have less first round pop.
Uh-huh.
The Sparrow has wicked first round pop. The first shot is pretty loud.
I will add, I'm a guy shooting a 18 to 24 inch bolt action.
Okay.
So I'm always quiet. Like that's gonna be way quieter like a pistol or an AR or something.
Yeah, because it's already kind of quiet as is. So that would be a difference. I guess
sure.
the use case, we have different use
For
cases.
sure, yeah. Which is good. I think it's good, yeah.
So my favorite 22 suppressor, I have a couple, but I would say I have this Tactical Solutions Axiom, and it's titanium, I think. That thing is like really quiet, easy to clean.
Yeah, good.
But I have the Q Erector. That thing is amazing quiet.
It's like 2 ounces or something. Is that
It's the aluminum one that you can screw on.
Yeah, stack them.
I took it to a squirrel hunt. I have like 4 of them, and so I was suppressing everybody's 17s. And one of the guys who was using that, he had it on his Tika, his little 17. It was really quiet. I was surprised. It's supersonic.
Right.
And so the suppression level is really good on that. It's just a pain in the butt to clean.
Yeah.
So
that's the K
The
baffles.
Sparrow is nice because of that.
Everyone agrees K baffles are like those, I call them funnels. They are traditionally like automatically more quiet.
Yeah.
But they're a pain in the butt to clean. They're so much harder because there's little kind of crevices and stuff to scrape out and stuff. Yeah. You could use chemicals too.
Which if you're shooting 22, which is super dirty, that might be a big thing to consider.
Okay, 30 cal can. So we mentioned 22 and 30 cal. You got to get one.
Yep.
What is your quietest, and what would be your recommendation for a new person?
Quietest,
because it might be different.
Yes, it is 100%. You're smart. Quietest. I think we're gonna put money on this.
Yeah, Jim and I both have a different opinion on this.
So I have the CJS Hyperion, which It's 3D printed or DLMS or sintered, they call it. So they basically have like a layer of powdered titanium. They weld it down to something. And they do another layer. They weld that down. They just kind of stack layers.
It's pretty cool technology.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah. So because
Printing
it's printed,
metal.
because it's printed, you're not bound by what a mill or what a lathe can do.
Yeah.
It can do
You can do
one
anything.
piece that it's absolute alien technology, and it's really strong, really crazy. So CGS Hyperion is, I think, the quietest can in existence for center fire
30 cal and
or 223 bolt. Like, it's really quiet for that. And if you look at Pew Science, this is a guy that rates suppressors with way crazy in-depth stuff. That has beat many subsonic blackout comparisons.
That's
It's
cool.
really amazing. Now, it's not to say that that wouldn't as well, because I think maybe it was just a crappy can that they're comparing it to, but
Yeah. CGS Hyperion.
So CGS is Chaos Gear Supply. They're in New Mexico. They're really breaking the rules of suppressors. You should Google, if you're listening to this, Google CGS Hyperion Cutaway and look at, they cut one in half. It is alien technology. It's completely unlike anything
awesome.
else. It's really weird.
What do those go for?
These are about $1,200 for the 30 cal. And then I have they call it the Hecate. This is the 338 kind of just scaled up version. And this is about $100 more, so $1,300. And they're printed titanium, so they're pretty light.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, so
you.
for the quietest. Now I've granted I've not shot that brand of
Right.
suppressor,
And vice versa, yeah.
but this one I have, and it's hilarious because it's so long. It's like I think 11 inches.
And they're not that different as far as length. I mean, probably 2.5 inches.
2.5. Yeah, that's kind of long for.
Yeah, and the Hyperion's a little wider. Just
Yeah, you got a little
Yeah.
bit more volume, I
Yeah.
would think, for the width.
Yep.
But this one is a Liberty Victory Mag. I originally bought this because I thought it was hilarious that it was so long.
And that was hilariously quiet.
And I was making fun of the baffles.
I see it.
The baffles are square cut holes. I don't know how they did it.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
if they punched them out or something. But something to do with the volume of this. It's lightweight. I think it's got some titanium in it. I don't know how much titanium, but it's for how big it is, it's really lightweight.
Yeah.
But this one, I have this resides on my 308.
Yeah.
And I give it to people, and we shoot supersonic full power loads, and it is
Super quiet.
it's quiet, and it kills the recoil so much that I had my 11-year-old daughter shooting like 300 yards, 308 full power loads with this, and no complaints of recoil or anything.
Yeah.
So
It's great.
this one, and then I also probably my runner-up would be I have the Q
Full Nelson.
Full Nelson, and that one is a little bit wider. It has like a little deeper tone.
Is that here?
Yes, I do have it here. But so I will say one thing that is, when Jim and I are talking about loudness, we're not necessarily talking about decibels per se, but it's like perceived
yeah.
loudness.
Yeah.
And we found that higher pitch is less comfortable to hear. And so if it
Wait, you said that's like your wife's voice, right?
Yeah, the deeper tones just sound better to the ear.
Yes.
And so maybe my suppressor is louder, but it still has a good tone.
For sure.
But
Or vice versa.
yeah, vice versa.
My second place, or I guess the second place in sound, and my answer to the all around, like this is what you should probably buy first, is the Dead Air Nomad L. And I'm holding the Nomad L Titanium right now. And actually, I have the steel too. We can kind of compare them. They're pretty different in weight, but I don't have the numbers in front of me. But this is a long Nomad. So Nomad L means long.
Yeah.
It's got, I think, 3 more baffles or something. It's a little bit fatter of a can, a little longer. That's obviously how you get quiet typically. But really impressed. I have it on my little blackout bolt action next to me. I believe, and I've been told I'm wrong by Jay at Pew Silence. He said you're wrong. I believe that the Nomad L is quieter on subsonics than the Hyperion is. Like, some cans are great with subs and they're not as good at supers or vice versa. I tried both, and I thought that the Nomad L would be quieter. I thought it was quieter on the subsonic blackout, but he's like, no, you're wrong. And he said that the Full Nelson and the Hyperion will beat anything as far as subs go.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So I just pulled out my Q Full Nelson. That is it's a fatty can. It's pretty
fat, yeah.
wide, and that one does sound good on like basically whatever I shoot through it. It sounds really good. The tone is really good. So I throw that on a 300 blackout break action pistol.
Yeah.
Yeah,
cool.
I got an Encore with like a 10-inch barrel or something. So now, what would you recommend for the first-time buyer to buy?
That's what I was saying. Probably the Nomad L, and the reason being, it's very quiet. So you want to be impressed with your first can. You don't want to go buy a really loud, just like K can. K usually means short.
Yeah.
It just doesn't really feel like satisfying, and you probably won't buy another one. So if you get a quiet one to start off with, like I've sold lots of these, and everyone's like, "This is amazing." They're just in love with it. But first of all, it's quiet. Second of all, it's really versatile because it comes with a direct thread mount. So 5/8 24, or you can buy a half 28.
Half by 28.
But you can also change it out to their mounting system, which is called Chemo, and
that's their quick attach.
Yeah, it's a quick attach. Yep. So you can have a brake, like their muzzle brake, and many other people adopted that system. But you have a muzzle brake on all your ARs and all your bolt actions, and then just the suppressor can go from gun A, B, C, D. You can just share one suppressor with many, many, many guns. So the ideal when I sell to a first-time buyer is I want you to have versatility as far as like this will work on all your guns except for your 338 or your 450 SOCOM,
or 4570.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Which we'll get there. We can do like a 46 caliber something.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want someone to just only have that.
Yeah.
That seems like everything else will suffer.
If you were to have just 2 cans, 22 can, 30 cal, and then we talk in a minute about like after that. But those would be the first 2 calibers. I actually agree with you on the first purchase for a 30 cal. I was thinking a dead air can. Great customer service, and they besides the customer service, they make good stuff. They make good stuff and they stand behind it. Yep. And I've seen far less problems than with some of the other competing local companies with their mounting systems. And
I'll say there's this, I wish I wrote it down, but there's this measurement for this Chemo system. It's I think 1 and 5/8 by 24 thread pitch, I think. Is kind of becoming universal. So their quick detach system could be put on a Silencer Co. suppressor or vice versa. Yeah. So they share thread pitches. So if you have 20 Silencer Co. muzzle brakes, you can put a Silencer Co. adapter on the dead air system or vice versa.
That's cool.
And I think Griffin or someone else has started adopting that thread pitch. So meaning they're quick detach, like you could keep all your muzzle brakes and change it.
And then change.
So it's kind of just like a really nice thing that they're doing to the consumers. Mm-hmm. It's like making,
giving some versatility.
Hey, gasoline works in a lot of cars. Funny enough,
Yeah.
Okay, so now real quick, what would be
what's the price point on those?
Those the titanium's like 1,000. I think the steel's about 800, 900, something like that. I have to look it up.
Okay, and one side note about suppressor purchasing is that you're not just buying the product itself; you're buying service.
Yeah.
So
you're like a member of a club.
Yeah. And I'll throw out this company, Huntertown Arms. Like
I wasn't going to say anything.
Yeah, I wasn't going to mention it too, but they were like the economy thing, and everyone's like, hey, but they were known for kind of like ditching. Yeah, like they'd make it, and then if you needed support, even though they had like a lifetime guarantee or something, then they fell behind in their support. And so going with a reputable company is important because you've already paid that $200 fee, right? And you want somebody who will stand behind their product.
And that's part of like what I look at. Like I have suppressors, and I will not mention their name, from companies that I would not bet will be around in 10 years.
Yeah.
And that scares me a little bit. Like, I'm not scared that it's going to break necessarily, but I'm just scared, like, given, 2 cans, 2 companies, same price, I'd probably stick with the one that's going to be around. No, not that one. Okay. So there's just things to look at with suppressor companies. I think, obviously, warranty is a big deal.
Yeah.
I actually know a local company, Silencer Co., they have a policy that when something comes in, they fix it and it ships out the same day. That's their policy. And I don't know if they always can do that, but that's their goal. Because the worst thing that can happen, I mean, you heard the story a lot.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, got my tax stamp. Let's stick this on my gun. boom, it like you didn't align it, like you didn't tighten it.
It goes downrange.
And it flies, and like it like blew out half your baffles and your in cap, and you send it back, and you do not want to keep waiting because you just waited 13, 15 months potentially, and they want to get it back in your hands. That's what they want to do, and most companies are like that. So I think that's a big deal, and just buying like from a company that has serious, muscle behind them is kind of comforting.
Muscle, and also maybe a track record.
Yes.
A good track record.
For sure.
So, now what would be, say you're, I don't know if we should do this, but we're going to do it anyways.
Yeah, let's do it.
Your worst suppressor you've ever bought or owned.
Whoa.
That you had buyer's remorse. I'll go first. Okay, mine is my Huntertown Arms. It was the AK suppressor that they had.
That doesn't sound very quiet, probably.
It was horrendously loud.
Yeah.
So loud that I shot it and it hurt my ears. And I'm like, well, what's the purpose of a silencer if I have to wear hearing protection? Right.
That's the whole goal.
It was the whole goal.
Yeah.
And so I found somewhat redemption in the fact that I measured the baffle holes, and it was a diameter of like just over 40 cal.
For a 309 bullet.
Yeah, and that's why it was so loud, plus the volume. So because it had that, it was crappy, right? It just sounded horrible. Because it had that big of a baffle, then I was like, well, I'm going to make this a dedicated 9mm suppressor on my subgun, like my SBR 9mm.
Perfect.
And so I got the adapter, threw it on, and I've shot thousands of rounds through it. I don't clean it. It's just, it is what it is, and that was the redemption. But that was the biggest disappointment in suppressors that I had. Yeah.
Mine.
Oh, runner up.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
The Mist. It's
that one. That's
a Gemtech.
Gemtech, yeah.
Yeah.
22.
So I brought it here for some reason. Whatever coating or finish that they have on it, it marks up so bad.
Yeah.
It bumps something. It's like chalk on a chalkboard.
Phosphate or
nitrate.
I don't know. It looks really bad. You touch it with something and it leaves a mark.
It takes all your skin cells off and stuff.
And it's an integrally suppressed 1022 barrel. It sounds like, with as big as it is, it should sound like magic.
Right.
That's what I expected.
But no.
It's louder than my worst 22 suppressor.
That's
so
sad.
It is really sad, especially because it had I got it cheaper, but it has a price tag of like $500 or $600.
Because the barrel and a suppressor. Yeah, right.
So that one, poo-poo, don't buy one. Sucked.
So I have had pretty good luck, I think, all in all, but the first one that comes to mind, I think that this company has redeemed themselves since then. Yankee Hill Phantom.
Oh, okay.
I bought my first suppressor I purchased in 2011. It was approved in 12. It was like a 13-month wait. I did a couple at a time, so that was one of the first ones. And it didn't sound terrible. It wasn't really...
What caliber was that
30
one?
cal.
30?
Stainless steel. It was about as heavy as a brick. Maybe a little heavier. It just didn't... I put on a gun, and the gun's really front heavy because it's so heavy. You know? And the mounting system, I honestly think it's probably the same. I don't think they changed it. I didn't love it. It just seemed kind of rickety and kind of Soviet era. Kind of.
It makes sense.
Yeah, but I just, I put on a SBR Blackout, and I'm like, this thing is so heavy and hard to hold it up now. And I eventually got like the Omega or even the Harvester from Silencer Co., and that was way, way, way better. And I'm not saying Silencer Co. is the best thing out there. They're great, in my opinion. Some people disagree, but I think that suppressor, I actually sold, that's one of the few I've ever sold to another person, legally, of course. Yeah. Few I've sold that I owned, meaning my company obviously sells a lot, but I owned that one before this business happened, and I didn't love it. And I'll say this, there's a category that I think is not as cool as people think. If you have a pistol caliber carbine, go nuts. They're fun to suppress, but your Glock suppress is not that cool. Like,
I actually agree. Shooting suppressed handguns isn't as cool as
you can't really holster. I mean, you can holster them; they exist, but it's pretty silly.
Yeah,
they're really like floppy and front heavy, and you're not near as fast with it. I bet you could be just as accurate, but you'll be slower.
Yeah.
But you look like the cool bad guy.
Yeah, like it looks very James Bondy. I will. There's a caveat that your 22 pistol is super fun.
And with 22 pistols and suppressing, I will say every adapter that you throw on, like 22 pistols that require a thread adapter in order to mount the suppressor
like a
onto.
Walther P22.
Yeah, you will get mad like point of impact shift.
Yeah.
And so the ones that are the best are like the fixed barrel designs, like the Smith & Wesson Victory 22 and
or the Mark IV.
The Mark IV,
Yeah.
Mark IIIs.
Those are awesome.
Those are, I actually get very little point of impact shift with my Mark III. I love that gun.
Yep.
So
I agree completely.
Yeah.
Actually, I audited a class at the University of Utah. It was Olympic pistol shooting.
Oh.
And so we had great instructors and students that, there was just students. It wasn't like the team or anything, but I just brought a Ruger Mark IV. It was actually it was a 2245 light, so just like the Mark IV. And I suppressed it. I was the only one suppressed shooting an Olympic pistol shooting class. And the teacher kind of rolled his eyes probably, but I kicked butt. Like, it was awesome. We were shooting 25 yards, and I could probably average 4 inches or so, but that's one hand, hand in the pocket or in the belt loop. It was pretty dang neat. So that's a great gun. Yeah.
All right, real fast, another quick question. Sorry,
no, please do.
Jason's like, I gotta go. If you were to go with, what's your thoughts on, and what would you go with if someone was like, I want a multi-function can, like a multi-purpose can?
Well, I'd ask what guns they have, but that's a long conversation.
Okay, real quick, I'll throw my thoughts.
Yeah, go ahead.
Multi-purpose cans usually don't do anything great.
Yeah.
They just do everything okay.
Yeah, that's a great answer.
So
it's like anything.
Yeah.
But the one can I say is I have 2 cans like that, but they're more specifically purposed. The Liberty Mystic X suppressor, it's a monocore 9mm can, but it can take pressures like center fire,
blackout, or
and even the new models can take like 308 and some.
That's cool.
Yeah, that one's a versatile can. I like it. You can shoot 5.56 through it. It's a good 9mm subgun can. It's a versatile can. I like it.
Yeah.
So that was one that I have recommended to people, and they bought it and they've been real happy with. And the other one is the Silencer Co. Hybrid 46.
Yep.
I have 2 of those.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
And I've not had a chance to try the Primal? Is it called the Primal? The Dead Air?
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, that's right.
So I can't give an honest comparison between the two.
I'm sure it's great. They make great stuff. And I was going to add the Omega 36M if you're not doing 45 caliber stuff.
Yeah.
Those are great. Like, they're shockingly, considering how big the bore is.
Yeah, it actually does pretty good. And I shoot a lot of, like, say, 458 SOCOM, 4570, and that Hybrid 46 can does a good job.
It's impressive, yeah.
And I've been happy with the support I've had from Silencer Co. with, like, I bought one of their 5.56 cans,
Saker.
And it had the Saker with the, I think it's the Mad mount,
Yeah.
and it got, like, locked onto I don't really like that mount. So I took it in, and they helped me out by swapping. They just swapped the mount with the ASR, which I have more devices for.
Right.
And
no brainer.
No questions. They just said, hey, yeah, we could do that for you.
Yep.
So then I was like, oh, you guys are awesome.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we're pretty
service.
close to them, and I've had little issues with them where I maybe can't get a break off because it's really, really super dirty. I don't know if that's my fault or theirs, but they just take it, fix it, give it right back to you. I'm not saying that they will do it for everybody. I'm not saying I'm special either, but I don't know that they want you to just walk in there with a suppressor and expect that. So probably call first if you're local. So,
yeah. Have you gone to Silencer Co. recently?
Not unless you.
When I walked in, it's this weird building, unmarked. It looks like a government building.
Yeah.
I walked in, and there's no like receptionist or anything.
Yeah.
There's like an iPad.
Yeah.
That you like sign in, and I'm like, whoa, what is this?
Yeah.
And then a guy walking by, he's like, oh hey, I could help you.
Yeah.
I think it is weird, but
is that a post-COVID thing? Maybe, I don't know.
that was like a long time ago.
Oh,
yeah.
That's kind of. They used to have a receptionist there maybe 5+ years ago. That was always there and normal, but I think it's just they probably have a camera and a guy around the corner or something.
Yeah. Anyway, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So
neat building.
We are out of time. Is there anything you want to throw in or add on to the conversation? Suppressors. You should buy one.
We have a lot more to talk about if you want to talk more, but I'd say if you're a first-time buyer, you're set. We could get into more deep and specific stuff too, if you want to.
Yeah, we should maybe plan on a future episode where we dive more into specific cans and what we like them for, purpose, that kind of stuff. But so if people want to follow you or check you out,
Yeah.
What did you say?
Instagram 22LR. So 22 is 22. LR Marks Men, MEN. That's an Instagram. And then I've got a link tree there you can follow.
Okay.
I'll post this episode there too.
All right. Sweet.
Right on.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming and sharing. And we have a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
Like we both have all these suppressors all over the couch and floor and everything. It's awesome. But
we're drowning.
Yeah. Until next time, stay safe, have fun.
Yeah. Be nice to people and take someone shooting.
Mahalo.
All right. Decibel levels and then tone because that's
huge difference. Yeah,
sometimes
high pitch, low pitch.
Yeah, is higher, but it's less decibels.
Yep.
And then a lower tone sounds way better.
Yeah, it does. It's just comfortable.
So, yeah.
Okay.
My wife says she can't hear my voice because it's deeper, right? She doesn't have to listen to me.
She doesn't listen to you.
What episode are we? Do you know?
Oh, I think it's 142.